Well, hello there, folks.
Hi there.
It's yet another episode of this special edition of Würfelcast. We're going
That's
through my top
true.
100. Yeah, so,
I'm so excited.
yeah, yes, you are. You're gonna bash my. What is going on here? Okay. Oh, YouTube. Okay. You're gonna bash my choices. Yeah. For
Never.
some reason, my clock, but my smartwatch wanted to say that I'm now live on YouTube.
Oh, well,
I
that's
know I
good to
am.
know.
But, okay, I need to turn off these notifications. Okay, but yeah. It's we've done the first, or I mean the bottom 50, or how would you call it? Is it the bottom 50, or is it because top 100?
Usually,
Yeah,
yeah, because
yeah,
we're
yeah,
going toward the top,
to the top. Yeah. So
which means we
so
had to
so
start at the bottom.
true. But at some point, I was like, okay, 100 is more than one. Okay.
Yes, that's
Anyway,
true. That's also true. But we live
philosophical.
in a world where both of those things can be factual.
Oh, that's true. Anyway, and now we're getting to this top 50 games, and today we're gonna go from with the numbers 50 through 26. There will be
Woohoo!
some games you will surely agree with. Some
Oh,
games you might not agree with. Yeah. Okay, I could see. Okay, very few games,
I guess we'll have to
mostly good
see.
games.
Mostly good games. Okay, so you only picked a little bit of crap for this
Yes.
episode of your top 100. Good to know.
Anyway, let's get on with it. All right.
Let's go.
So my number 50 is an abstract game, but rather beautiful
Ah,
abstract game. I would even say a very much a 3D building abstract game called
ah,
Santorini.
okay.
So
I've heard of
Santorini
this one.
is your two rules, and okay, if you play with special powers as well, but that's it. And what you're doing, you're just building this grid of, or you're building, yeah, those different buildings. They have levels, level 0 basically on the floor, level 1 and 2, and level 3. And what you're trying to do, you have two of your pieces. You need to have one of those pieces on the third floor, on the highest floor. But you're constantly blocking each other off. And if you play with special powers, and you should play with the special powers, you'll be using those to hinder the plans of your opponent. It's such an easy game to learn and such a hard game to master, I would say. Yeah, because it's yeah, it's abstract thinking. It's all about the skill. Eventually you will learn to play better. But what makes it more interesting than just abstract chess or go or whatever, where you have to think, here the special powers make it different each time if you take different special powers. So each time you learn something new, and there's a lot of them there. So yeah, Santorini
There
is my
are.
number 50.
Yeah, I quite enjoy Santorini. It's one of those games that I have played. I think it was on my when I did the list of the games I had played the most. It was up there because I've played it lots of times and also lots of times in a row. This is one of those games where you'll play it once, twice, three, four times,
In a row,
because it
yes.
doesn't take very
Yes.
long and it's not very hard. So yeah, this one's good.
All right, let's go to number 49. So my number 49 is another, I would say, rather abstract game, but it has probably a little bit more theme to it due to its mechanisms. Evergreen. So Evergreen is all
I know
about,
which one this is.
yeah. Evergreen is all about this evergreen. It's all about
Evergreen.
building
Yeah.
trees. Yeah, you're building the trees, and you build the small ones, the tall ones, and then you can build the rivers and some bushes, etc., to get extra points. But what you're trying to do, you're trying to score points based on how the sun projects the light, and what trees are in the sun, and thus they give you points. What trees are in the shadow, thus they don't give you points. It's like photosynthesis in a sense,
Yes.
but
Mm,
not as I would say
bad.
not as confrontational or bad. I
Oh,
don't know, but
okay.
that's confrontational because yeah, because in this game you are playing with your everybody has their own board,
Mm-hmm.
and it's such a fun mechanism of how you build. So basically, how you build, you draft a card, and basically will give you the opportunity to build on a land, sand or grass or whatever the different colors of land. Let's say, yeah, and the scoring is also, or I mean, remember some kind of a tree majority or something like that, or number of trees on particular land is also based. The scoring of that is based on what everybody's drafting, because the last card you don't draft contributes to that scoring at the end of the game. So you're
That's right.
also trying to position the trees not just to get the shadow and sun or whatever. And the sun goes, by the way, around the board. So it's now it's up, then it's on the right side, then it's south, then it's east, and so it projects lights from different spaces. So you're trying to build up your trees in advance, but yet score a lot of points every round, and
Mm-hmm.
yet you want to do this huge scoring at the end as well, where you score for a group of trees based on what cards were not drafted, etc. So yeah, I just um, there's a lot of thinking, but it's so easygoing in a sense. I just like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I like this one. It takes me a minute from the name isn't all that. There's so many games that just are sort of something plant related that it takes me a moment unless I actually see it. My one complaint about the game is about the pieces, and that is that you're planting trees that are clearly not evergreens. Uh,
Okay, such a weird, such a
it's a
weird
weird choice, right? There could
criticism.
have been little. Well, I mean, if the game's called Evergreen, there should be evergreen trees. But my other one is I wish that at some point, and I haven't tried it enough to know if this would work, but you always start at the top of the board and go around. And I wonder, or I wish that there were rules where you could start at the left of the board, or sort of go in a different way and see, rather than having it be sort of the same order
But
of the scoring each
I
game.
think you can, because how
I
does it
don't see why
change
you
the game?
couldn't. I don't think it would. I also did not play test the game, so I don't know. But I just it's a weird choice to give everybody. And it'd be nice if there were a bunch of different boards, but that might not be balanced. Um,
True,
but no, it's
true.
it's not a bad game. It's just not a very memorable game.
I see. For me, it was. But yeah,
Yeah.
my number 49, Evergreen.
Hmm.
So my number 48, and by the way, as I told you, I'm not a fan of drafting games. But if drafting is from the center, it's like it's a central pile or market of cards, and then I'm drafting cards from there. I like it
Uh
much more
oh.
than yeah than drafting from the hand, and then giving cards to the left or to the right. But now there's a game that has this kind of a drafting, but has a
Hmm.
lot more to it. And for some
It's
reason, I
not Seven
liked
Wonders Duel again, is it?
no, for some yeah, for some reason I like this game much more with this
Okay.
kind of drafting mechanism, which I usually don't like, and that's Blood Rage number 48.
Ah.
So yeah, Blood Rage has your standard drafting. Yeah, you draft cards, you put them down, you give the cards to your left, whatever, and then you use the cards. Yeah. So the cool part about Blood Rage, and I wasn't keen on playing that game at first,
I remember.
but when I got it from Secret Santa, and so the cool part about Blood Rage, it doesn't feel like just dudes on the map game. Yeah, because with the drafting mechanism, what you're doing, you're basically building up your board. You're becoming different from everybody else. Your leaders, your followers, and then whatever they become different. They might have some special abilities, cool special abilities. You can get monsters. The monsters will have some special abilities. It's really cool to put the monsters out and they do something crazy. It's all so much fun, and everything else is just area majority. It's like, okay, so we're gonna count these things, and now I have this and this and this, and then the 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 combat is very easy. You just count the things you have on the board already with some maybe special abilities, but then you put down one card, reveal your cards, see what happens. Boom, that's it. There's not much going on. Yet its simplicity is what drives it. It's what makes it such a great kind of due to the map, but also drafting
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I enjoy this one. In fact, I think I was one of a person who suggested you try it. So this is one I like quite a bit. I prefer another game in its family a little bit more than this one, but I do quite enjoy it. In fact, there's a couple of games I like. The problem actually with this game is that there's two other games that are similar to it that I like more, which are Rising Sun, and then not completely unrelated, but Chaos in the Old World.
I see.
Um,
Yeah,
from the
because
same
I was thinking
designer.
about Ankh, which is a
Oh,
closing game in the trilogy of these games.
yeah.
Because
Well, and
they call it trilogy, by the way.
yeah, I understand. Um, and I enjoy Ankh, but I don't think Ankh is very. It feels very different from
Yeah,
uh, Blood Rage and Rising Sun. But then Chaos in the Old World feels like many of the concepts feel like they were based upon that.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway,
I didn't like Ankh that much, and Rising Sun was on my list. I think
so
I enjoyed
there
Rising
you
Sun
go.
more, and then Blood Rage is the number
It's
one
the highest.
from this,
All
the
right,
highest from these.
there you go.
Okay, let's go to number 47. My number 47 is another bigger game where you have it's a space opera type of game. It's a 4X game, but the way this 4X is done by Ryan Lockett is
Ah,
so interesting, so kind of cartoonish. Not how do you say, it's not, you don't have to take it too seriously,
sure.
but it's still a big game. There's a lot of rules, there's a lot of going on. 47 Empires of the Void 2. Yeah.
Two.
So Empires of the Void, the second edition, basically the 4X game where the big part of the game is you choose an action, others follow. You get the
Mm-hmm.
better version of that, others get not so great version of that, but still get to do stuff. And then you roam around those planets, trying to colonize them, or politically or militarily. And you can do some pickup and delivery and stuff. There's things you can. So if you control the planet, you can use allies of you can
Mm-hmm.
use the troops of that planet as your own troops, and you fight each other. But the fighting is never like, oh, I'm just gonna kill your guys. It's like, I have to now abandon this planet, go away with all of my
Mm-hmm.
guys somewhere else. You don't lose them, which is cool. So
Sure.
the other side of that is you upgrade your board. Maybe I can find it, maybe not. So many things, but the thing is, yeah, you have your own board, and then eventually you will put out stuff. Uh, the things you buy will become more expensive, but on the other hand, they will become better, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
get technologies which are, like a tiny technology tree. When you get the resources, you can also use them on those technology spaces, so you can get some special abilities. I don't know. It's just a nice idea. It's every planet has its own kind of a small rule, like a card or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
with the troops, etc. So it's the art, everything. It's such a good package, I would say, for a 4X game.
Yeah, I agree. This is a good game. I enjoy it. I don't know that I've played it nearly as much as you have. I've only played the new one a couple of times, but I was actually a fan of the old one, and there are a lot of echoes of the old one in here, but this is
Yeah.
a different experience and changed for the better.
Okay. Okay. I cannot compare, but
Sure.
all right. Let's get to number 46. My number 46 is a very different game, of course it is. But
I'm surprised.
what I mean is that this is a rather small game, introduced by the one and only Kyle R. Woods.
Uh-oh.
Yes. And so I thought, like, at first when I played this game with you, I was like, okay, that's okay. I don't really like it that much. I could play
Oh,
it, but
wonderful.
no. But eventually, I realized that I need to get this into my collection, and that's number 46, Silver.
Ah,
And Silver comes in 4 packages, 4 different packages.
it
You
does.
can buy any of them. Um, if you want to introduce yourself to this game, I would say buy the first one. It's the easiest one to grasp based on the what the cards do, what their exceptions are. But this is
Sure.
a memory game. Yeah. So if you don't like memory, oh, you're gonna hate it. Um, because it's all about you have 5 cards in your village. You know a few of them, and then you draw. The rules is simply draw a card from the central pile, or you take the card
hmm
from the discard pile. But you take the card and do something with the card. You can use its ability if it has the ability of playing it. You can exchange this card with another card in your village, and you might exchange it with a random card in your village that you didn't know what it is. What you're trying to do, you're trying to get the cards in a village to the lowest score possible. You want to get the lowest possible cards. But as with memory and take that games, there's a lot of that manipulating somebody else's village and giving them gremlins, which are
That's the
num-
best.
number 12, gremlins and zombies and etc. So there's a lot of that going on. It's easy going.
Yeah.
Here I don't feel like you attacking me is very personal or anything like that. It's not like a war game type attacking. It's just it's simple. You draw a card,
Sure.
see what happens. Yeah, if you lose, you lose. I lose all the time, but I have fun with silver because I like to
Yeah.
take risks, etc. It's just the cool part. And then when you get all 4 sets, you can mix and match them. You can have different ones. You have more replayability. Yeah,
Yeah.
just fun.
I uh, I love Silver. Silver is one of my go-to travel games. It's look, it's not going to hit every time, but it sure does. It sure does hit a lot for me, and it's very lighthearted. And you have to keep that in mind if you're going to take this as a serious hero game. I don't think you'll you'll have a good time at all. But also, we have our traditional game of Silver on suitcases at the airport, so there's that as well.
True, true. All right. So let's go to number 45. Number 45 is so went from the big box to the small box and now to uh, somewhat bigger box, but not yet the standard one.
Okay.
It's a card game, and this is the game that I even played solo. You don't, you know, I don't play solo, but this is the game I played solo and enjoyed solo
Okay.
because it's either a solo or a two-player game. Number 45, Arkham Horror, the card game.
Oh, that's true.
Um,
In fact, it's best solo.
I liked it both ways.
Sure.
I probably the same, though I might have liked the two-player game more,
I see.
just for the reason just that I enjoy playing with other people.
Okay.
If I can find, okay, never. There's no playmat here, but basically,
I
there's
see a
no playmat
playmat.
in the box.
Oh,
But
okay.
um, so Arkham Horror the card game is I love Arkham Horror. That was a huge game. Lots of rules problems, too many expansions, blah blah blah. But this Arkham Horror the card game, what it does streamline the whole idea of Arkham Horror, the game, the board game, and playing cards is just fun. and going to different rooms and such, defeating baddies and throwing dynamite, whatever. I'm going to talk about the base box, of course. I didn't go through the expansions. I know that the expansions add some other locations, whatever. But yeah, it's just fun. And then eventually, what you can do, if you want to, you can build up your deck. So you have this possibility. I don't care. I just take what's there. But you can buy extra cards into your deck with the things you kind of collect, like points or something like that, experience, and just it's an Arkham Horror. It's a cooperative or a solo game where you play cards to the best of them to outsmart the baddies in that game and
Hmm.
investigate, basically putting the tokens on the cards and then turning them over and whatever. If you found something, you investigate. Yeah, it's just plain fun.
Yeah, I like this game a lot. But the problem I had with it, and that problem I believe has been solved now, was that it came out so slowly. So if you were trying to play through the story, you would buy the box, sort of the story box or whatever, and it would have two or three scenarios. And then you would slowly be fed more scenarios over the course of the next 6 months, and by the time a new one arrived, you had forgotten everything about the story. And so if you were trying to play that sort of start at the beginning, go through a story, and go to the end and upgrade your character, it was so mindlessly slow. Uh,
Hmm.
because you just had to wait. And so what I would do is I would wait and I would save them all up until they all came, and then I would play it in a great big burst and go all the way through. And that was fine.
Okay.
But I think now they're selling the whole box, sort of you buy a box with the whole story rather than some stupid serial format. So that was my biggest complaint about it.
Okay.
I quite enjoy the game. So
All right. Okay. Let's get to number 44. My number 44 is another, I could say, a 4X game. Very Euro-y 4X game, and not all of those
so it's
X's are
about the
big
foreign
enough.
exchange. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. Number 44 is Brazil Imperial.
Ooh.
Uh, I liked it.
I'm glad. You can tell by my expression that I liked it too.
Of course you did. No, look, Brazil Imperial is yeah. You are building yourself up on those on this landscape, and then you are uh, building the production buildings, getting resources. You have your own board that you get the tokens off, so you get some points at the end of the game. You have the troops. The combat is also very deterministic, and you never lose troops. You just get them. You kind of lose them, but you get them back when you're bored. You don't have to pay for them again. You can just put them out. And you have cards which are like paintings, but I could call them the technology cards. They call paintings here. Um, it looks good. It's colorful. I like the colors and etc. Yeah, it's just fun to build yourself up, to explore. The exploration here is kind of weak. So that's the minus. I don't mind it that much. Yeah, I like upgrading my board. I like putting out the pieces. I like how I do not lose. If I lose a combat, I'm just done, and then I'm sitting in the corner. I cannot even pay for my troops. There's nothing like that. So it's you can still go out and do again and again. And some pieces have some abilities in a sense. Your board is a bit different. You have your own special ability as a nation or whatever, not nation, but I don't know who they are. Basically, districts, leaders, some leaders with something. Anyway,
Yeah.
the 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 biggest thing about this one is that I really enjoyed it. It's, you can see it's higher on my list, but it needs an expansion badly. I just felt like there could be an expansion, giving more of the cards, adding some real technology, maybe expanding the board, expanding the exploration part. I just felt like it needs much more. In a sense.
Yeah. This game was this was one that I was really excited for, and it was a total flop for me. I just, I now I only played it the one time, and maybe I'll try it again someday. But nothing about the game was any fun. I mean, first of all, the combat was really very bad. It was one of those things. It was the kind of thing where if you started it, you nearly almost it kind of just bankrupted you, and then you felt like you
Mm,
were okay. Well, now I have to start again. Um,
I
it's there were
not
so
into
many
it.
restrictions on the number of things you could have. It's like, well, you can have a special card, but you're not allowed to have more than three. And so then if
I could see.
you'd get more, and then it would be like, okay, well, and they weren't all ever very exciting. Also, you kind of needed a magnifying glass to see the costs of anything you were building because they were written in very tiny symbols at the very top of those little hexagons. Um, it
Look,
was
all of those
this one
things
was
they didn't
not.
bother me at all. What bothered you probably I didn't find it as a negative.
Yeah, I just did not enjoy this one at all,
It's fine.
and
It's fine.
so it won't be on my list.
Of course, you enjoy things like Twilight Struggle. Ooh. Okay, okay.
I do.
Uh, you enjoy some Alexander Pfister games, Feld games.
I
Ooh,
love Fister.
we'll talk about that
Anyway,
later.
we will.
Yeah, but let's go to my number 43. Number 43 is yet again a smaller game. I do have a mix of match of bigger games and smaller games on this list, and this one is I think it expanded from roll and write, but this is not a roll and write at all. This is Tetris like shape drawing, uh, card game, board game, paper sheet game, pencil game. Anyway, cartographers
Ah,
and all of its maps and expansions, but basically it's different maps and heroes. Okay, whatever. It's basically the same game. And what you do
it
in this
is.
game, you are so there's a central pile of cards. You draw a card, shows you a shape or two. You choose between two shapes, and then you draw them. And there are scoring cards in the center. And the first round, A and B cards scored. Second round, B and C, then C and D, and then D and A cards score again. And the thing is that these scoring cards, they're different. They can tell you that the villages must be in a group of that many things, but they cannot be next to the river or to the
Hmm.
forest, or they have to be in the corners of the map, whatever. All those restrictions and such. You're trying to build up your map, and then but you see what's coming in the future, what they're going to score in future rounds. So you have to think in advance to not block yourself off. And then there are some cards which are monster cards where you throw a monster card, you draw a monster card, then you give your sheet of paper to the person to your, I don't remember, right or left, whatever, and then they draw a monster, which will give you a minus point for or minus 2 points for each empty space next to them. And of course, being nasty, everybody draws a monster in a most uh, in a
In the nicest way possible.
yeah, quotes.
You do unto others as you wish they'd do unto you.
True. But yeah. So yeah, it's such an easygoing game that you have some pencils, you can throw it in your backpack, you can go outside and then sit on the terrace, sip on a lemonade, and just draw. It takes a little bit room with the cards,
You
but not
say,
that much.
that's yeah, it does take a little bit too much room for that. Yeah, I've this is one that really never goes wrong for me. Uh, I like almost everything about it. I do. I guess the only complaint I have is that even in the big box, there's not really any room for all of the different maps. There's just too much stuff for the game. But I guess that's a good problem to have. Um, I think adding the heroes set in to the base set is a good idea because it gives you that many more scoring cards, and I think that's that adds just a tiny bit of variety and that many more monsters, so you won't be
Yeah.
seeing the same thing every game.
I
But
have heroes, I have some map packs. I don't have all of them as of now because I at some point I was like, there's so many map packs now that I don't need that many. Maybe I'll buy them eventually, but I haven't tried the map packs I already have. But what I did, basically, I cut so you have the block of those paper sheets. I kind of pulled half of them,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
just have basically I have all the maps and necessary amount of sheets for many games because they are double sided as well. In
Hmm.
two boxes, the heroes and the original one,
Yeah,
and then I have the spare sheets in somewhere in my home in
yeah.
somewhere another box because it will not fit if you have all of those blocks. So I kind of pre prepared few of the sheets for each map if you want to play it.
Yeah, I in fact I think that's one way you could do it is you could take it and you could just laminate the sheets and have dry erase markers for them.
Mhm.
And then you could easily keep them. You could have a nice easy to go travel version. But no,
Okay.
this is a good game. This is one of those games that I just am always in the mood for. It works really well with a lot of different groups, and there's very little negative I can say about it.
Okay. All right. Let's go to number 42. Yes. But number
Mhm.
42 is um with this game. It was small at first. Then a few more decks came out, and then it became a bigger game. Bigger cards, bigger box. Half of that box is empty though for any possible future expansions that will never come out. And
Uh-oh.
that's Valley of the Kings.
And then an
You know what I
expansion
mean?
came out.
What expansion?
That Necropolis one.
It kind of, yeah. It's out of
You mean
print.
it kind of came out? It came out.
I think it was
I
pre-release
have
or
it.
something like that. Oh, you have it, but
No, you could just buy it from the companies, from the publisher.
straight from publisher, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Valley of the
The
Kings.
box is much too big, but that's okay. The old boxes were much too small.
True. And so the premium edition is the one that I'm talking about because I have the premium edition. Bigger cards, nice. Better art, nice. This is your traditional deck building game. You have hand of five cards. You play them for ability, or you play them for the coins to buy more cards. And you buy cards from the pyramid. And what I like the idea of that you can only buy cards from the bottom row of the pyramid, but you can manipulate the pyramid enough to get the cards you want. Basically, eventually, if you get some special abilities on the cards, and the last part, the cool part about this deck builder, it's everything is kind of traditional, but cool part about that is that all of these cards are in sets.
Hmm.
Like there's the priestesses sets and sarcophagi set.
Sarcophagus.
Stat,
Yeah.
uh, uh, s-
Sarcophagus.
sarcophagus, but it's
Hmm.
sarcophagi. Something
That's
like that.
more than one.
Yeah, whatever. Modifications, statues, etc. Um, and what you're trying to do, you're trying to entomb the cards into your tomb, and eventually that means that you cannot use them during the game anymore, but they will score you
Hmm.
points. Everything else that you will not entomb will not score you points at all. Everything that still in your deck, in your hand, nothing. It's not like with usual deck builders where you just build your deck and then eventually you just, oh, at the end of the game, let's look
Hmm.
at all the cards I built. Yeah, no, here you have to do the separate entombing action. And you can get it from the cards, you can get your usual one, and you're trying to get those sets of different
Yeah.
statues, different modifications, whatever. There's many different sets. If you get all of the, if you get the older editions, there are several of them, and if you get the new edition, it's all inside one
One
box.
box.
Yeah, so that's what I like, the decision between keeping the card in your deck and using it for its benefit, or at some point I have to entomb it. Otherwise, I might not be able to do it in the future because I don't know when this card comes out again from my deck.
That's right.
If I build a huge deck, then that's a problem. If I use this card now, oh, I have to wait a long time before I get this card back and can entomb it. So yeah, I like
Yeah, that
this deck builder.
this was that was sort of the hook of this game, right? That whole pyramid thing was meh, but the entombing action, this sort of forced culling, and that decision was really what set this one apart and made it kind of stand out. You know, when it came out, it was sort of another deck builder in a field of a fairly crowded field of games that were just deck building with nothing else, and that sort of piece of it, that entombing piece, made it really feel different.
True. All right, let's get to number 41. My number 41 is I have a lot of smaller games here. Um, number 41 is the game that I really enjoy. It's a cooperative game. You, I don't think you'll like it that much. You might be okay with it. It's rather abstract. It's very easy to learn to teach, and it has this charm to it, in my opinion. The Last Expedition, number 41.
Hmm.
So
You do like this one.
Last Expedition, yeah, because it's such an easygoing small um card game where you just have those symbols and you're building basically by playing cards. You're building a row of cards that you need to go through challenges. Yeah, some of these symbols like the yellow symbols are mandatory. You have to do that. That means that you have to maybe pay food for the shelter, or you have to add more cards to the row, which means it becomes a more difficult path. Um, you lose life and etc. So the red symbols are the ones that you have to choose one of those brackets, and they're always bad, almost always.
I think, yeah, pretty much almost always.
Some are good, but and the blue ones are totally optional. If you want to do it, you don't have to. And there's and the cool part about that, you cannot talk about the cards in your hand as you play cooperatively. And during the day, you have to play the cards in numerical order. So if I play 25 and you play 49, my 25 comes before 49. And sometimes you're like, please don't play anything before this card. So because you want to have cards in a certain order. You want them in a specific order because then okay, so we can get this resource from here and heal here, so we can use this thing there to lose the life and whatever. It's yeah, and the resource is communal. The characters are communal. Um, and at night you play the cards as you play them without numerical order. And what you want to do is you want to go through the jungle for the path. You need to use those walking symbols, and if you go
Hmm.
walk through 9 cards, that's it.
Yep.
Um, you survive with at least one of your characters surviving.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just fun. Each time I play it, it just works with people. It's just simple.
Yeah. I like the game. I don't like it nearly as much as you do, but I enjoy it. I think it has there's a lot there. It works okay solo as well. I like the expansions. I do not like the little tiny cardboard chits, but
True.
other than that, I think it's a good game. I wish it fit a little bit better in its box.
Yeah, could have like a little bit bigger box and maybe the resources are like wooden resources, something like that. That would be
Something
really
like
cool,
that.
special edition. But the cards are big, and the art. At first, I wasn't sure if I liked the art, but the more I played, the more I kind of
It
like
grew
this.
on you.
Yeah, the style of that. Yeah, cool. All right, let's get to number 40. My number 40 is the one that you will approve.
Okay.
The base game of it that I played, I didn't enjoy it. It
Uh-oh.
felt, yeah, I was like, okay, I don't know, it's just wasn't for me. But then the legacy version came out, and you talked about the legacy version a lot, and then I was just like, okay, I have to try this game again. But if I'll try it again, I'll try the legacy version, and I enjoyed the legacy version much more. Or maybe it was just time for me to start enjoying this game. Number 40, Aeon's End Legacy.
Ah,
So
I do enjoy this game.
Aeon's End is a cooperative deck building game. You have some special abilities. You know, you have the market of cards, and you have the baddies, and the baddies have their own deck, and the cards come out. They can do some bad stuff, or they can be monsters that you need to kill. And you have your grave gravestone, what was the
Gravehold?
gravehold? But yeah, the gravehold, the town's name, and
Gravestone.
yeah, and your town
That's a
is
weird name.
gravehold. Yeah, and your town has lives. So if your town runs out of those lives, then you lose. If you all get killed, then you lose, etc. So um, the cool part about it, so the baddies are kind of hard to kill, and the cool part about this game is um, there's the order of players. Like you have the baddies turn, your baddies card, your players cards. You shuffle them up, and then you pull them out and see who goes first. So it's not like, okay, we're gonna go me as a first player, then you, and then the baddie. And the baddie, I mean, like, is AI. It's not
It's
AI,
not a
but
player, right?
it's not a
Hmm.
player, NPC. And so I like this. So each time I might get 2 turns in a row. I might go first. I might go last. Who knows? I like this kind of
Hmm.
a small randomization with the turn order. And then the other part is that you always prepare spells, and you can prepare spells on the open portals. Eventually, you want to open more portals, so you can prepare more spells. And it's your usual deck builder. You know, it's there's nothing really too much there. And Ancient Legacy, what it did, it gradually introduced to the game, and it, like, if you choose just whatever random baddie, you can get a really bad one for your first game, really hard one. Then you feel like, oh, you feel disappointed. But in this one, as it gradually introduced it to the mechanism, it also gradually increased the difficulty. Uh, but in the beginning, you was like, okay, yeah, I could do this. I could defeat that baddie there, and eventually, like, oh, this one sounds like crazy one, like 100 lives. What's going on, But fun. And then you put the stickers on, like with legacy games, and you build up your character. I really like the evolve action. I'm not gonna talk about
Yeah,
much about it, but the evolve action was really fun.
that was fun actually. Unfortunately, that's one of the pieces that doesn't carry over if you keep playing the game after the legacy experience.
Yeah, yeah.
I will tell you, I enjoyed Aeon's End Legacy. I enjoyed all of the sets, and then Aeon's End Legacy 2 came out, the Legacy of Gravehold. And that is the first Aeon's End set that was a flop for me. That one, I enjoyed some of the bad guys in it, but it gave lots of false choices. Like, you open the box, there were two campaign books, but you really end up kind of playing through it all anyway, just in a different order. And I found the second Aeon's End Legacy to be weak, but I'm still happy with the system. I
Hmm.
still get a lot of joy of it. The other thing I would say is if you started with some of the later sets, like the Outcasts or New Age,
Hmm.
they came with a nice set a set of cards, and so you can make your own campaign. And they had the bad guys categorized by level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. And that's another way to sort of choose a random bad guy. If you don't want it to be too hard, just pick one of the level 1 ones. And so it was a nice way to organize things to make it friendly to new players.
Okay. All right. So let's go to number 30, 39. Number 39 is another cooperative game. A game where you use dice, and you have the tower in the center, and you throw the dice in the tower, and they spill all over the boards because
Oh.
this is the spill.
I see.
And I like this mechanism. So in the spell, you're trying to save animals while you're spill the oil leak, yeah, all over the board.
Hmm.
And this is the central kind of a dice tower that you throw the dice in and see in what sectors they land. and you trying not to get too much. What's what do you call it? The spill out? Yeah, the spill out.
Hmm.
Thank you. I had the picture. The spill out. So, but I really enjoy this game for its simplicity in rules, and you have some special abilities. It feels like it's like a pandemic like game where the things are constantly getting worse and worse. It's not like you can just you're not trying to reach a goal to win in a sense, but you're trying to survive. It feels more like you're trying to survive than get to the end and beat the final boss or something like that. And yeah,
Sure, there's no final
it's
boss.
it's simple. You have different objectives. You can make the game harder or easier, but it's quite hard. It's a challenge, and sometimes you are
Yeah.
unlucky with the dice as well. You have to base it on that. So sometimes you're just unlucky. Then you just play it again. But yeah, I just
Sure.
like this whole system and simplicity of it.
Yeah, you've told me good things about it. I have not tried this one yet. I did not rush out and buy it because it looked similar enough to some other games that I already had that
Yeah.
I wasn't aching to play it. But maybe sometime if I'm at an event and it's there, I'll try this one.
Yeah, it's nothing hard to it. It's really easy to learn. All right, let's go to number 48. 38. Sorry,
I was
number
gonna say we're going
38.
back.
Yeah, number 38 is another kind of near and dear to my heart. It was on my list many years ago as well. I liked it much more. I cooled on it, but it's still a great game. Mission Red Planet, and
Mm,
of course, second edition. I was like, second edition. Yeah, find the first edition. Um,
yeah. I think I gave my first edition to Victor.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
anyway,
mean, there's no reason to keep the first edition. The second one's much better. Uh,
so what I like about this one, first of all, there are roles that you play, and then you activate them from the highest to the lowest number. All of this stuff, and the higher number is a lesser special action, but you can do it earlier. And the
mhm.
lower number, you might do it later. And sometimes you want to go earlier in the game because somebody will blow up the ship before you can go, or occupy the ship fully, so they will go to Mars. But this is a majority game. Uh, there's take that. People can blow up your ship.
Mhm.
People can snipe your dudes from the moon, whatever. And but this is all fun. You can change. Sometimes you can change um, the region where the ship is going, and they land on a different region that they didn't want to. Now they have 100 guys in that particular region and nobody
Mhm.
anywhere else. And very easy going. There's at first you look at there's a lot of rounds, but then as you go through them, they go really fast. It's a fast game. It's a light game. It looks much more. It looks bigger than it really is, to be honest.
Yeah, it
And
does.
and yeah, I like the idea. So what I like in such games is outsmarting your opponents. So you're constantly thinking, okay, so if they will play that card, then I have to play that card. But will they play that card? Okay, there's situation on the boards like that. So you're always thinking about what will everybody else play. So you
That's
will
right.
play the right card because if they go before you, you're done. It's not going to
Disaster.
work. Disaster. And as you play the cards down, you can see what everybody has played. So you can okay, so they played number 2, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so I'm sure they will not play number 3 again. You
Because
know,
they haven't picked it up yet.
yeah, and as long as they haven't picked it up yet. So yeah, I like all of this.
Yeah, this is a fun game. It's a good game with a larger group, so that you are really competing for things. I quite enjoy it. Second edition is the way to go. I don't even know if the second edition's in print anymore. I haven't seen or heard about this game in a while, but if you can find it, it's a good game. It's a good fun.
Yes. All right, let's go to number 37. Number 37 is another near and dear to my heart. I love it, and you were okay with it. As I
Uh-oh.
remember when we tried it, I think I taught it to you while I was visiting you,
Okay.
you and Victor. But
Okay.
I just love it the same reason. It's just so simple. It's so easy to teach and learn, and I can play it with any groups. And if I bring it has a good artwork. I can connect this game to some other games that they might have played, like Werewolf or like any hidden role game. So you can
Mm-hmm.
tell them, "Oh, this is something like that, but try it out. This is different. This is cooler." The Grim Masquerade.
No. Shock. Am I going to fall over?
Yeah, yeah. The biggest so I played it a ton, but the biggest problem with the game is I would love to get like a new edition or expansion, anything, some extra stuff for this game. On the other hand, it
Mm-hmm.
works well. It's well balanced. So in this game, you get this hidden role. You can be Cinderella. You can be Rumpelstiltskin. I'm always Rumpelstiltskin for some reason. I don't know. Um, and you're
You
trying
don't
to
get to choose.
yeah, and you're trying to figure out who everybody else is, bust them, so you can win a round, and then you go for 3 rounds, and whoever has the most roses eventually wins a game. And it's easy. You just draw 2 cards on your turn. One card must be kept to yourself. One card must be given to an opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And if basically there are boons and boons and banes. The good things you
Something
want to
like that.
collect, and the bad things you don't want to collect. Good things you want to collect 3 of those cards,
That's
then you
right.
win a round. And bad thing you don't want to collect 2 of those things because you're then busted.
That's
And
sad.
so you sometimes give a card to another person. It's their second card, and like, okay, did I bust you? And they're like, no, but then they have to put the evidence marker down, marking down that they are not that person. So you okay, so
Mm-hmm.
now I know they're not that, so I can deduce who they are. And there are some special abilities you can use, duplicates of cards um, to use a special ability. Point the finger, very easy one, just to point a finger to somebody to say you're a Rumpelstiltskin, you're an evil queen,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and so on. So yeah, there's not much going on, but with what you do is it's so much fun. Just draw 2 cards,
Sure.
take and give, boom, that's it.
Yeah, this was a fun one. I had a good time with it. I don't like it nearly as much as you do. In fact, this is the kind of game you usually don't like, but but you seem to really enjoy this one, and I see
Just
the merit
works.
in it.
It just works. Probably because it worked with so many groups, with so many people
Hmm.
that they introduced it to. So yeah, just plain fun.
All
All right,
right.
let's get to a bigger game. The game that you introduced me to, and then I
Uh-oh.
introduced it to uh, other people on the cruise. Like I think yeah, you taught us, and then based on
Hmm.
your teachings, I tried to teach others. I only played it once, but I had a good
You
idea of
shared the gospel.
yeah.
Which all right? Let's see.
And I'm a classical composer, so I was like, okay, I need to play this game.
Oh, okay.
hmm because it doesn't look great. It's like, okay, it's
It
another Euro
doesn't.
game, but I need to
It
play it
is.
because of the musical theme, though theme there is not. Uh,
Oh, there's theme. It's just not very strong.
Lacrimosa,
Um,
Lacrimosa, and the first time I played, it was like, okay, interesting, but I didn't like that musical notes part. I couldn't grasp it yet. The second time I played it, I was like, okay, I really like the idea of the marketplace of the cards, going around the board with your Mozart and reliving his memories or something like that. Don't care, but the scoring is actually interesting, based on what notes are there, not based on what color is there. It's
Mhm.
I like this idea. Um, I like upgrading the cards eventually. and how you as you buy the cards, they have the bottom and the top action slot, whatever,
Right.
and you always have to choose two cards. One of them you have to put on the top, and it will be your action.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one you have to put to the bottom, and it becomes a future resource. Basically, this is
That's right.
something you will generate for the next round. Really cool. All the resources are reset at the end of each round, so you have to use them wisely. I just like this whole card idea very much. So I really enjoyed Lacrimosa because of that. Anything else is your usual Euro game, but it's kind of juicy. It's not dry
Juicy.
on
It sure
mechanism.
doesn't look juicy, but no, I agree. This is a fun game. It kind of feel the rules definitely could have used a bit of streamlining. There are some pieces that just don't
Sure.
need to be there, but I enjoy it. I agree. It's not exactly the most thematic game you'll ever play, but it's not a bad one.
Yeah. All right, let's get to number 35. Number 35 is a rather thematic game in a sense.
Uh oh.
And it's a horror game, and it's a cooperative game. And it's the
A
game where
horror game?
it's a horror. Yeah, horror game.
Okay.
And it's a game where the second not second edition, but basically the second installment in the game flopped, and the Kickstarter yeah, the company went bankrupt. So I
Oh.
kind of lost a lot of money. Um, but there is good news. Another company picked up. The first company was liquidated. Another company picked up, and they will be able to ship what was produced still. But they will have to charge custom fee and shipping fee again. So I don't know. I'm waiting. They have to announce it in June how much it will cost, and then you either donate the game if you don't want to pay the shipping, or you pay the extra shipping and then get your game. All right.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is sorry. What I'm talking about is
Oh.
Subterra. So Subterra, the first installment. The second installment, yeah, Inferno's Age is the one that
I
there are different
see.
language editions that did come out, but there were different companies that did those, and some
Hmm.
of the copies were you can get the English edition in the shop, the base game of Subterra
Hmm.
2. For some reason, they got it through different channels, like retailers who
Yeah.
ship it from China themselves, etc. So, but whatever was meant for the backers remained in China, and I heard there was some mold in the box already. They were staying there for so long. No, they
Fantastic.
basically they had to repack it and change some stuff,
Okay.
like replace. Anyway, yeah, that's not about this game. So Subterra is a cave building game. Nah, but what I like
Hmm.
about this game, I love to explore. I love to say, I'm gonna go that way, and as I go that way, I don't know what's in there. I'm just gonna go that way.
It's a
That's it.
mirror.
What?
That's what's there. It's a mirror.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
It's not.
you just go some path, and then some bad things can happen to you. Trying to get out, find the exit, survive with as many people as possible because it determines your kind of end game score. And some horrors move around there, the flood and the poisonous gas, whatever. It's just pure fun, and you have special abilities. It's not so hard to learn as a game. It's quite easy rules. And yeah, I
Yeah.
just love this exploration. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just stepping into this direction and see what happens. That's what I love in games. Yeah,
Okay.
up to
Yeah. Subterra 1. I played. I didn't really love it. It didn't. It didn't. I never had a game of it that was really exciting for me. It kind of felt like it was a little too long, and
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
ended up not. I'm glad, but I ended up not being involved in the Subterra 2. I think I got the first one just in time to make my decision not to get the second edition on Kickstarter, which actually turned out to be a good thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Sub-Zero is still a good game. My number 34 is the game that you don't like, but I really enjoy,
Okay.
especially with expansion now, because with expansion, it gives a second bidder something as well. 34, Vault Wars.
Oh.
If you know Storage Wars and you like Storage Wars as a show, there are different ones, try Vault Wars, because Vault Wars is also a um, you have vaults here, and
Mm-hmm.
so you can you have the cards in them. They're like magical, whatever, uh, what they, items, etc. There might be
Mm-hmm.
some junk. So you as the master of the vault, and every player will become master of the vault. But you as the master of the vault, you'll be able to see all the cards, and it shows you what number of cards you can reveal for the others. If to
Mm-hmm.
ever see what cards number of cards they can peek into extra cards, so they will have some idea of the vault. But maybe they peeked that the card was like, okay, it's only junk here, but maybe there's another card hidden, and you start bidding on those piles of cards on those vaults, so you can get your items, you can sell those items, you can equip some items for special abilities, and you're trying to get the most points. And you have to pay storage fees for your cards that you keep, and or you can sell them for a high price, but you want to keep as many cards as possible to get points. And the expansion Relic Roadshow adds the relic cards that you get if you're the second highest bidder. You get to choose a relic card, and these are special, also like special ability cards, and then there is different scoring pile. Eventually they kind of play the same, but it's just more people get more stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of is more fun. Yeah, yeah, it's your Bolt Wars.
Yeah, I was I was not really a fan of this one. Let's just say it like that. Uh, didn't do anything for me. I don't love auction. As if there's if it's going to be a bidding auction style game, it has to do something extra to overcome a hurdle for me. That sort of starts with a strike against it. I know you enjoy it. I've never had a good play of it.
That's fine. All right, let's go to number 33. This is the game that I really enjoy. I got the expansions eventually. I like the idea of this world. There is a race element in this game, and I don't usually like race element, but if there's a whole another game built around it, I might enjoy it. Last Aurora, because we're
Oh.
trying to get on this Last Aurora. With the expansions, there's another premise that the ship has sailed, and whatever you need to get to somewhere else. I mean, like
Sure.
not the ship. Uh,
Somewhere else.
yeah. But in this game, we're doing you going around the board, and you also building your truck. And what I like about this one is that you can upgrade your truck to a better truck with more spaces, or with you can build the parts, the upper parts to the truck. You can get more cards, more whatever the people. So they give you some special abilities, etc. You're constantly going out and buying the cards in the market, and you're moving on the map along different hazards and stuff. You can get radiation on your people. It just
Ooh.
it's just plain fun. The scoring,
Okay.
what's not fun is scoring is not fun. There's not much you score from, and the scoring is really small, always low numbers.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh, but yeah, overly, it's just such an interesting concept, and going around the board, and I like the idea of building uh, my truck, and yeah, and people.
Yeah, I was poised not to like this one, but ended up liking it quite a lot. So,
Hmm.
uh,
The interesting part is that,
sometimes
yeah,
go ahead.
no, the interesting part is that the expansions, they add some symmetry where you have different decks, starting decks. Uh, there are some story cards that work kind of like Crossroads, kind of not.
Yeah.
But they're okay, but I still like them. The expansion boards are different, so if you enjoy the base game, I would still recommend getting the expansions because they add modules and you can choose whatever module you want to play. Just try them
Sure.
out and then see. Yeah.
Yep, I like it. I mean, I don't know that the first expansion was critical. The second expansion, I think, is a little bit better. Um, it adds a little bit more, and it's a little bit more to integrate, whereas the first one felt
Yeah.
like a slightly different game. But that's
Second
okay.
expansion is just cards, basically. It's
Yeah,
just cards. But these are
it's
story
better.
cards, the new enemies, and
Hmm.
the asymmetrical decks. The first expansion was more about we'll give you another map. You know.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's
All right.
right.
Let's get to number 32. My number 32 is a um, marine themed game taking
Okay.
place in the deep sea, but not the one you're thinking about right now. And it's a card game, and you in Lacrimosa, you slide the cards in or in your board,
Yes, you too.
but in a slightly different way. Number 32 is Aquatica.
Hmm.
So Aquatica is hard to describe. So basically, you have cards that you play, and you get kind of action points or actions, and then you're trying to get those territories, or you get the new cards with some other abilities, and then you have your board. If I can find the board, maybe not. Maybe you can see it just a bit here. That you get those territories and you slide them in your board, and they have symbols which are basically actions as well, and you can gradually use them as the game goes along. So trying to kind of build up this chain of reactions. Uh, yeah, maybe. Oh, here, maybe.
There
No,
you
it doesn't
go.
show here. Not this board. But anyway, yeah, it's just your simple card game. You're trying to manipulate the cards in the best way possible. It looks nice. It works well. It's not overcomplicated, and just fun.
Yeah, I liked it. I don't know. I like it. I enjoy it. I enjoy many things about it. I just don't. I think you definitely enjoyed it more than I did, even though I've probably played it more. but
Yeah, it did.
um, but yeah, it's a good game.
All right, nice. Let's get to number 31. My number 31 is a huge game, and the new edition of that box, as I heard, was abnormally huge. And I mean, there's so much content in that new box that you will never play it in your lifetime. You don't
Uh
need that much
oh.
content. You know, this company that does games that are so big and so, in a sense, complicated that, but on the other hand, thematic and really good. That, yeah, company called Mind Clash Games. You know this company.
I've heard of them.
Hmm. And the game called Anachrony.
I've heard of that game.
Look, Anachrony is not as complicated as what's the other
As
one?
it looks.
No, no, not, as it, yeah, not as complicated as it looks. As you start playing it, it becomes kind of straightforward. But you can see there's a lot of things going on. But what was the other game? I was on my list. My God, the first game they put out, the
Tricarian.
Tricarian. Thank you. Blank. Anyway, Tricarian was much more complicated, rules wise and play
I'd
wise.
agree with that.
Very.
Hmm.
This one is a worker placement. It's more straightforward. I like the idea of building your own place with the buildings where you can put workers, and then you have the central board with where you have to use hazmat suits or robots, whatever they are, the bots
Hmm.
that you put the people in, and then you go to those different spots. You're trying to get the resources. You can either put the workers out or call out your workers. Uh, yeah, and trying to get the points from all the different stuff. And there's this time manipulation going on that you basically borrow a resource, but then you have to go back in time to give this resource back, so you will
Hmm.
not have any anomalies, whatever. But anomalies basically, you roll a die, you get some pieces of that anomaly, and if you get too many of them, you get a red building, which is basically minus points in the game. And in order to get rid of that red building, you have to sacrifice a human being along with some resources.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's the whole idea of that. But the overall premise, how it plays, how smooth it uh, is with such a huge rule book and quite a few rules and lots of space on the table. It's still not as complicated. I just really like the whole premise, the whole idea, and just plays so well.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I have played with some of the expansions, but I think this game may have added too much, and and that makes it daunting even to open the box.
Yeah, yeah, true. Anyway, let's get to number 30. My number 30 is this weird game that you probably have not played, but I played many years ago. I did a preview of the prototype, and now many years later, when they finally finished the Kickstarter, there were some problems, but they got it out. The Kickstarter edition is very beautiful, lots of cool pieces, and even I am myself in this game as a was like the
Oh, okay.
expansion pack, the promo pack,
Hmm.
and that's number 30. Seize the Bean. Now,
Sure.
Seize the Bean, what it does, it takes different mechanisms like worker placement and card building and deck building and I don't know the all the different things. And this seems to be a prototype here. Yeah, but whatever. You get the idea how the game looks anyway. And so what it tries to do is it tries to um oh, here maybe, yeah, it I lost my string of thought. But anyway, yeah, let's talk about the game. Um, in this game, you are doing all of those different mechanisms, but as you play it, and it doesn't feel like there are so many different things. They kind of blend in together. The mechanism blend in well, and
Hmm.
you have to get the people, basically customers, and then what you're doing, there's the customer service phase where you create a line of your customers. You have to, feed them, or I mean, like, yeah, sometimes you feed them, you give them coffee. They have different orders and stuff. But if you feed them, they give you bonuses or they give you points at the end of the game, the good reviews, etc. There's always your own family that doesn't get angry with you. But if you make
Yeah.
the customer happy, they will stay in the order for the next round. If you make the customer angry, they will leave your shop forever and go back into the town. And yeah, it's there's the worker placement. The cool stuff about that is that you can upgrade your shop with the cards, left or right side. And as you upgrade the cards, you basically upgrade the base actions of those worker spots. So they become stronger and stronger and stronger.
Hmm.
So basically, you add all of those extra spaces. So yeah, I like the whole idea, the premise. It's thematic, and it's a different theme. And as I said, it feels kind of unique with all of those different mechanisms and how they work together. Really enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, you've talked about it. I don't know anything other than what you've said. It's not widely available, and
I might bring it in January.
I've not played it. So,
I might bring it in January. It's not
Is it a
such a huge
promise or a
box.
threat?
It's a it's a yeah, both.
Very well.
Both. It's both. It's both. Yeah.
Okay.
No, my today I'm so tired today that my mind is not working.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I want to eat. I'm hungry,
Okay.
but
Well,
I'm
just a
also
few to go, and then you can.
but I'm also hungry for some great card games. Oh, that was a segue. Um,
Are you sure?
I tried.
Mm-hmm.
Number 29 is the game that you will agree with. That it's a really good game. It's a two-player game. It's also very simple. You know, just choose a card, put it on the table, reveal, see kind of what happens, and then punch the
Mm-hmm.
other person in the face. Game wise,
Oh,
that's Combo
okay.
Fighter. Combo Fighter.
Ah, very well.
So the Combo Fighter, and there's also the I can show you the new edition is a Plot Maker edition, which I probably want to get because it
Isn't
was
it the same?
really hard to get. It's the same that, but the Plot Maker, they were the original company who did the game, and then the Colossal Games took over. But the Colossal Games distribution is as bad as it could be, and so they Plot Makers they probably got the rights back for this game and started doing their own edition, which
I
will be
see.
a little bit easier to get in Europe at least.
Okay.
So yeah, so this game is all about you. It's rock paper scissors. You have your fighter,
Mm-hmm.
and there's that red beats yellow, yellow beats blue, etc. And so you both put out a card, you reveal them, see who did the first punch, and then you can combo. It's called combo fighter with extra cards because the cards have those symbols. Like for example, the initial symbol is the yellow triangle, yeah. But it also shows you that you can play if you throw a punch, you can now play a red triangle or a blue triangle to continue punching. And your life points are your deck. If you run out of your deck and cards in hand, that's it. You lost. And just play card, reveal, boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Play card, reveal, boom, boom, boom. Let's go. It's such an easygoing and such a fun game.
Yeah, I like this game. This one's everything I'm looking for in a game, in that it's fast and it works well and it's easy to explain. I don't love the artwork, but other than that, I think it's a pretty good
Yeah,
game.
you can do the special combos for more damage, but you have to play certain cards in particular order. But
Yep.
your opponent knows you have those combos, so your opponent like, okay, if they will try to do this combo, I can counter them. So if they put the blue out, I'll definitely play yellow.
Right.
Yet again, this outsmarting your opponent with the rock paper
Mm-hmm.
scissors thing. Okay, my number 28 is a rather complicated game in a sense of keywords. And it's like why? Why?
Uh-oh.
Such a great game, such a unique deck builder. We have
Mm-hmm.
cool, very different decks and plays very differently for each of those because I think I tried Atlanteans and another person tried the Arturians and they were very different from
Mm-hmm.
each other. We tried some classical ones, and I'm talking about 28 Imperium Classics / Legends. You can go with
All
either
right.
one. Whatever.
Classics/legends.
You can go with either one, whatever you like more classical nations or not. Um, so basically, what you do is there's a central market of cards, and then there's your own kind of a internal market of cards, and you're playing the cards, doing the actions, um, and yeah, trying to get to your special cards eventually, and you sometimes can get the what the bad cards, what they called. Don't remember exactly. The red cards.
Oh, the riot or unrest or something
Unrest
cards.
cards, yeah, yeah. And if there's too much unrest, if all the unrest is taken from the central pile, you both lose. So trying to keep that in mind. and you're building the land, like a landscape. You are, yeah, it's such a hard game to describe to everybody. It's like a deck builder and really unique because you kind of build your deck, but you have to be very precise with your deck. You have to get right cards there. You want to call them. It depends, of course, on the nation, and each nation plays so differently in a sense. For example, Atlanteans, they, for me, I was not trying to build a deck. I was trying to call the deck constantly.
Yes, you are.
And yeah, a lot of keywords. Every card has like, you must, I don't know, you must
Yeah.
ride the wheel to abandoned river. I'm like, oh, that means discard a card. Okay, yeah.
Oh.
I'm trying to come up with something, but
I don't think those are the words in the game, but yeah,
no,
there
not in
are
the
a
game.
lot of obscure terms,
Yeah,
and they're not really explained in the rule book. You then have to go to a separate glossary and figure out. I mean, half of the rules of the game are in that glossary, and not in the main rule book, which is an unusual way to explain things.
and the other thing is that with some of the nations, they have their own keywords. Like it's not like this.
Yes, they do.
These are common keywords for every deck. No, like they have the Atlanteans, for example. Again, they have flawed, whatever. So, okay, so what means floods? And then there's a text for flood. Like, okay, so yeah, it makes kind of sense, but like, flood the card. I'm like, okay, what is flooding the card? You know,
Yeah,
and you don't have
it's kind of
history.
rough.
Yeah, you don't have
Hmm.
history. Flood the card. I'm like, what's going on? I'm playing the game. Why such secrecy? Like they could have just done it. I understand they tried to do it thematic, but they could have just probably done less keywords and done some stuff in a usual traditional way. Like discard a card means discard a card.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, that was Imperium Classics and
I,
Legends. Such a
I'm a
unique
big
game.
fan of it. I really like it. I'm looking forward to the third one whenever it ends up coming out. And yeah, it's a great game. It's especially good for one player or two players. Playing it with four was a
Yeah.
disaster.
I play with two players and I refuse to play with more.
All right.
Utterly refuse. Anyway, my number 27 is a sweet, sweet game that I first heard about. I was like, okay, I'm not sure I want it, and then everybody talked about it for some reason. Like, okay, I'm gonna get this game eventually. And when I got it, I was very pleasantly surprised. Such an yet again easygoing game. There's not many rules, but it's easy to explain. But yet it has a lot of depth, and that's Honey Buzz 27. And I'm waiting for the expansion as well. Honey Buzz does is it builds up as you go through the game, yet it doesn't it retains its simplicity throughout the game. It doesn't overwhelm you with information. You're building your hive, and then you're activating as you get the as you close the um, hexagon, or not hexagon, is it?
It's a hexagon.
Yeah, hexagon. Yeah. As you close your hexagon, you can then activate the actions around it. Get more bees, get the nectar, or whatever else. All the different move your bee on this board, collect nectar, um, use the fan, go to the marketplace to sell the honey or whatever, to do the orders,
Yeah,
different things, but very easy.
except
You just put your worker out, and then get the disc, and then get the piece of your honeycomb, and then place it down.
yeah, you have to spend about half the game watching to make sure people aren't eating the pieces. Um,
Yeah, very
those
yummy.
We got to do a list sometime of pieces that feel like they're made to go into your mouth.
No, 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 no. Wait. No, 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 not on this channel. Uh, and you sure? I'm sure you have some experts uh,
Hmm. Probably.
from all the different countries in the world. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. So yeah, Honey Bus is such an easygoing Euro game, and the thing is that I don't like this. I don't like grid building usually, abstract thing, but I really enjoyed uh, building your whatever it is, your board, whatever it is, the honeycomb, or what you do the colony
Honeycomb.
comb,
Oh, a hive. Um,
hive. Building your hive. You're building a hive basically.
yeah, of honeycomb.
Yeah. All right, let's get to number 26. The last one for today. Number 26 is the game that we all played together on the cruise
Uh-oh.
and we all enjoyed.
Really?
Yeah. You, you got me to learn the rules and then you played it and then you started introducing this is reverse lacrimosa. You started introducing this game to others
Okay.
and you had to buy the copy instantly.
Oh, okay.
And so I also found the game eventually, bought a copy, really enjoyed it. I showed it to my friends. They did not enjoy it that much for
Oh.
some reason. No, we were tired. We were playing for a few days and we were so tired that we probably need to play it again. I need to play it again with them. Maybe they'll think differently for this game because it's the first rat.
All right.
Yeah, I really enjoy First Rat because what First Rat does, yet again, like Honeybus, like many like Aquatic, many others, it's simple in its rule set. And
Sure.
at first you read about that like, okay, so I'm moving uh the pieces on the board in in particular way. What is it? Some kind of monopoly or what's this game? You know, it's just okay. Do I have to roll the dice? No. Actually,
There
you move
isn't.
your mice, but
Mm-hmm.
you have this rule that if you move several mice, you can move them with lesser speed, and then they have to end up on the same colored space. Really cool. And then, depending on what space it is, you get the resources. You want to get the parts for the rocket, so you can build the rocket parts, and then you can score points. It's all about getting somewhere first to put down your markers, so you score more points, and you can score points for many different things, and then you can turn over the board and customize the board as well. And it's just it's a lot of fun when you move several mice and then you're trying to figure out, so this turn I'm going to go to these spaces, and that turn I'm going to go to the other spaces. You are never blocked, because if you end up on somebody else's in the same space as somebody else, then you can pay them. Then you have to pay them with cheese, and if you don't have cheese, okay, you have to get loan of cheese, and then you get some minus points in the game. But you're never blocked. The thing is that it's yeah, it's an easygoing game, and I like how you go to the shop, and yet again, the freedom is that in this when you the shop, if you wanna, you can spend the cheese to buy the item, like a backpack that gives you opportunity to get more resources or whatever, the end game scoring stuff, the corks, and or you can steal the thing. But if you steal it, your rat goes to the beginning.
All the way back.
Yeah, all the way back, which is not usually is not a bad penalty.
No, it's actually not that bad, unless you're trying to rush, right? I mean, because you can rush this game by getting all your rats to the end,
Yeah.
and if that's sort of your end game goal, then
Yeah,
you wouldn't
no,
want to do that.
I like how you also can collect the comics, whatever they are, that are like special powers. And now, for example, the red spaces and green spaces are the same for you, kind of the same colors. So you can now mix and match, or you can go through the. There are some shortcuts. You can go through the shortcuts for free, or you can now move your mice faster. or whatever else. It's the cool upgrades, not too complicated, very understandable, amazing. Such a great game.
Yeah, I quite enjoy First Rat. It was a hit for me. It was one I'd been wanting to play for a long time, and then it was an instant hit for me and for several other people. So I'm very much in favor of this.
Nice. All right, that's it for today.
Okay,
Here we are.
that's the end. Now you can go and eat something,
Yes, I will.
and I can go and get ready for church.
Yeah. Do you eat in the church?
Well, let's just say the snacks aren't all that great.
Okay. But you can always up and get a burger and just secretly eat
I
it
think
in the church.
Oh my goodness, that would be terrible, especially because I sit up in front of everybody, so everyone would see me. Um,
You're just turning around, munching on something,
yeah,
and then
like because I run the. Well, we can talk about this later, but yeah, I should not eat a hamburger during church.
I'm just suggesting. Anyway,
All right,
yeah, thank you
very
everybody for
well.
watching. Thanks, Daniel, by the way, for being with
Yeah,
us
all
for
the way through.
all the way through 1.5 hours, and I think we got some really good games there. Don't you think?
Well, we only have one more set.
Yes, we're all set for one
Oh,
more set.
okay, very well.
Let's start it now. No, next week.
Okay, let's go. Roll the
Yeah.
credits.
We have to go to the church. Oh, you have to go.
Yes,
to.
exactly.
I don't have to go.
And not eat a hamburger.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Oh, wait, just more. Okay, bye.